Yo, what up, Purplish? One second, I have to respond to some Slack messages. Okay. Speaking at React Miami the year I'm not going, what a jabroni. I specifically picked this year because I knew you weren't going, so that's how it works. I'm sorry. I don't make the rules. Just kidding, I do. All right, so the first thing we need to do this morning is one, figure out why this is broken. This seems suspicious here. In fact, I'm not even going to waste time on fixing this because I know that I have to change the data structure anyways. So this looks good. This person's been verified. Let's see here. Prove. Great. We need to go and figure out, well, one, clicking client should navigate us back to clients. Yeah, that's okay. Why are we listening to Hans Zimmer right now? I met a Yeti. Let's go. Actually, you know what? I need to check something. I'm gonna design these events, so it's a model where, or these are events, activity events, yeah, where the top level thing is a triple. Every event has 3 fields. It's gonna be actor, action, and we use this at work. I helped design this with our data and business metrics team. I'm gonna blur my screen quick and go look at some code real quick because I like how that works. What up, Cyprian? Let's see here. I'll make this quick. We'll pop open the sidebar. Vercel, GitHub. Go to API. Go to packages. Lifecycle. Where are you? Lifecycle events. Good morning, Akaya. I don't know how to say your name. Akaya? Here we go. Actor type, actor ID, action, object, object ID. All right, I'm gonna yoink that because this works really well. And we're gonna maybe not do exactly that, but it's gonna be close to how we do things. All right. So first thing we need to do this morning is a data migration of our activity event table. So let's go and just knock this out. I guess we should do updates. It's been a couple days since I streamed. I forgot that I had 2 doctor's appointments this week in the morning, which is part of the reason I didn't stream this morning. We should be back to my regular, consistent schedule here now. I even got paged at, dude, I got paged at 3:50 a.m. this morning and was on a Zoom call at 3:50 a.m. for like 30 minutes triaging a problem that one of our upstream vendors caused. They fat fingered a IP address and broke domain purchases on one of our nodes. The upstream vendor we work with, you have to give them a list of 5 whitelisted IPs that requests can come from. And we asked if they could double it and give us 10. And they did yesterday. And I think what happened is when they made that update, they had to manually re-enter the 5 IP addresses we had, and one of the IP addresses ended in .92, and they had put in .93, and last night one of our nodes started failing, and basically all activity going through one of our domain purchasing services nodes just completely, every request was a 500 to their services because it was unauthenticated because the IP was not whitelisted. Pain in the ass to figure out at 3:50 a.m. Love from Kenya. Akaya. Well, love from Raleigh, North Carolina. Where the hell do I have Kickstart Nix at? There we go.
Functions describe the world.
Cannot pull with rebase your index. Sure. Why can't I? What? There we go. Dude, I'm so pumped that I got Reese on my team. He and I balance each other so well. He's like just absolutely cracked and super fast and good and an expert at front end stuff, and I'm kind of the same on the back end. Things on Vercel domains are gonna start freaking moving. I'm so excited. Get that. So once this goes, close that over here. So let me show you what I need to do. So once a user gets approved by the coach, let's say we go back into here, there's this activity tab, right? Which just shows like all the events that a user has done. And there's also a view of this on the front page, right? For the coach. Right now, the way this data model works is that I have an event type and then just like a generic JSON payload that I dump in here. And like if we look at this, right, ID role, like this is just the user, right? I have this strongly typed in TypeScript, but the thing I need to be able to do efficiently is in this view, right? I need to just get all the events for one user, and without using really inefficient JSON column queries, I can't do that because I don't have like a user ID on here anywhere, right? I have an ID, payload, created at, all that stuff. Not super helpful. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna come in here and we're going to add, let me see if I have this still on my clipboard. Yeah. An event like this, right? I can't even comment that, but that's okay. So we're gonna have a actor type, an actor ID, an action that the actor's taking, the thing they're acting on and the idea of the thing they're acting on. So that's the model we're moving to. You like the colors? Thank you, Kira. Morning, Buffy. Morning, Ross. Let me check that quick. Why did I get a... Okay, not a big deal. Great. Got any... I have not. I'm thinking about building a new gaming PC for my birthday, which is in 2 or 3 weeks. And I'd like to get back to it. I just man, I just don't have time. Between this project and work, I just haven't had time to game. I gave Justine my gaming PC and she's been playing a ton of Baldur's Gate. Alright, are we updated? Yep. Alright, let's do that. Run this. Yo, if anyone's going to React Miami, I'll be speaking and we can hang out. Where's my exclamation point? There we go. Great. All right, we're all updated. Let's jump into the code and we're gonna go over to DB and up here, let's go to we're in our schema. Oh yeah, that's right, we did make this view. I forgot we did this. Nice. Sometimes I forget all the work I put into parts of this. Okay, where are our activity events? We need to refactor this into that model that I showed before, right? So we want this like metrics object. And so we're gonna want columns on here, right? And we're gonna want actor type. Actor type. We'll make a new tuple for that. We'll just say, let's just do it right now. Paste that in there. Activity, change to T. This will be actor type. What the fuck, that activated Siri? That's annoying. And we'll have in here, our possible actors right now are, we have a coach and a client, and then we'll have a prospective client. And then we have our activity event types. And then our object types, I don't even think we need to, I don't know if I need to strongly type that at the moment. So let's model out these events into like this triple and see what they would look like, right? So for a metric report reviewed, the actor type would be that would probably be coach. The event type, the object type, excuse me, would be metric report. Okay. Yeah, we really only need to do those, right? User complete, sign up, onboarding assessment, prospective user, object would be onboarding assessment, user signs up. I guess object type would be, we could just make it the user. Okay, yeah. This is gonna work. I'm wondering if it's worth strongly typing the actor types or just leaving them as strings. Yeah, let's type that in code rather than enforcing it at the database level. Activity event type, actor type will be text, actor type dot not null. And then we'll have actor ID, text, actor ID dot not null. And then we want type and then we'll do object type and this will be object type and this will be not null and then object ID. Dot not null. And then we get a payload. Something like that. Let me check one other thing quick, chat. That's clever how I did that. That's clever. Okay, that's a better idea than what I'm doing. Okay. Yeah. Chat, I'm gonna go What the heck? Yeah, I'm gonna go let the dogs out real quick. And then we're gonna make a small update here, and then we're gonna run this migration and then seed some new data. BRB, letting the doggies out. We back. Let's do this thing. It's cold outside, guys. Who would have thought that it's cold out in January? Ugh. What up, Kraut? Kraut, come to React Miami and let's hang out. And we can have some drinks and jam to your weird music at the bars. All right, so we're rather than typing these, I'm gonna actually convert this to all text, and that's gonna be text. Payload. We'll make that not null. Yeah, and then let's copy this and move it to, we have our activity events over here under lib. Activity events client. We'll just shove this here. That's already commented. Great. Great. And now here, latest version available. Why am I getting tagged at Slack? What up, Nora? Okay, that's not me. Cool. I need someone in chat to type. Like that, Kraut. Does that help? I meant like literally the text. So this. Oh, son of... All right. I love fucking with Mike Arnaldi. It is one of my favorite pastimes. Somebody clip that too. Somebody get a clip of me saying I like fucking with Mike. I've been debating about using EffectTS for my new project. You 100% should, Nora. I love Effect. Let's go drop our data in this table since it's not important. Activity events, we're gonna drop all of you. In fact, we can probably just drop everything. Nuke. Rip. Drop out of the job queue. Oh, we do at some point need to build a dead letter queue. Job queue, email verification, assessment, activity event. Drop all these, get rid of that. Answers are good. Questions, skills. Yeah. Great.
Functions describe the world.
Why is that taking so slow? That's kind of weird, right? Unless this is a chunky table. But I don't know why this would be a chunky table. Thank you for the follow, Bubba. The onboard, I will say the learning curve seems much steeper than it really is. There's like, if you can learn basically what the effect type is, right? So your success type, your error type, and your dependencies. You can learn what a layer is. A layer provides a dependency, can have an error, and it itself can have dependencies. And then you learn what a tag is. A tag is something that goes into the runtime context, and a tag is like a key that has a type associated with it that the runtime uses to look up a dependency at runtime. If you can learn those things, you have effect down. It's like 3 things, and everything ends up following the same pattern, and all of your code ends up looking the same and following the same patterns. It really turns into building with Legos. I can show you some effect code. I don't know if you've seen the effect I wrote on stream. A layer in effect is a way to provide... A layer can be multiple things, but the primary use case is a layer provides a runtime implementation of a dependency. So it's what powers dependency injection. Let me run this migration quick, Nora, and I will show you the effect code. I have a job queue that's running in effect here. And we can dive in. What am I doing? We cleared the database. We need to run the migration. So in here, we're going to come in here, and we're going to say that, and we're going to say pn or bun run jizzle generate. Yeah. Is Superbase having issues? Yeah, that is the worst summary of effect I've seen. Is Superbase having issues right now? There we go. Rhino. Why can't I see that? Drizzle. All right, so we're altering activity. We're setting the event type. Drop that. That looks good. Okay, that looks great. Migrate. Awesome, that just worked. All right, so now we're gonna have to come over here, and this is gonna be borked. We're gonna have to refactor this. Right, yeah. So what do we have? We have like this base activity event that we can now probably change. Activity event. Yeah, we don't really want that. We can get rid of this. We'll come back. We will want to remake this one, but so user signs up activity.
Speaks the gospel of the camel.
A user
I
ID.
speak the gospel of the dunes. The sand is in my veins.
And we'll come here, and that'll be
Come ride a camel with
string.
me today.
Thank you for the sub. 6 months. Jeez, 100-year colder. Thank you so much. Appreciate you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Yeah, I like Supabase a lot. I'm already happy about. User signs up activity event. That's basically just this now. And we can get rid of this. And then user verifies email. Again, it's going to be a user ID. And we'll have, I guess, just email to keep it easy. Do that. Yoink that. Yoink you. User uploads metric. This will be a user ID. User will be the actor. This will be the object ID. Yeah, that's the full event. User completes onboarding. This will be user ID. That was an empty. This will have coach ID, and then it will have report ID, and then we'll have client ID. User makes payment. And this will be string. The fuck? Any of them just froze on me. That's really annoying. What's up? I'm suffering to deploy a Nest.js app at Vercel. Almost banged my head on the wall. What's going on? What's not working? It's not what we want. There we go. We were in activity events. Hope. Gives me a 404 error like you can't find the main route, but it runs just fine locally. Are you using Turbo, or like what are you using to I'm trying to think about, is your project open source? Must be string ID. Just update that, make sure it doesn't happen again. User payment activity event. And this is probably gonna have a what data do we get back from Stripe when we get a payment? Do we have a table collecting payments? Performance, process, credential, onboarding, job status, checkout session. Price ID. Yeah, we can use that. Session and price ID. All right. Event. We can get rid of payload. No, it's not open source. I don't want to use you as Vercel support. Listen, I'm happy to try to help. If you send me, if you paste your project ID in chat, I can take a look when I start work later. I'll scan the logs and see if I see anything obvious. User makes payment event. We can drop just activity event on all of these. So let's come here and we're just gonna yoink this, that, activity event, and we're just gonna get rid of it. And we'll do the same thing here. User makes payment. Oh, we probably want how did I name these before? Okay, I did not postfix them. Dylan is actually #1 Vercel support guy. He helps me with all my Vercel stuff. It's true. It's true. Sentient has never successfully used a single feature on Vercel, and I've had to hold their hand the entire time. Okay. So let's come down here and we'll drop, it's like the Facebook meme, right? It's like activity event, drop the event. It's much cleaner. I have all my projects deployed over Svelte since Heroku stopped being free. Fingertips are calloused. Yeah, it's true. It's true. The amount of work that I do for Sentient is just unreal. All right, I'm gonna blur run real quick because I want to look at this again. This is like my favorite hip hop song right now. I can use effect for that. That'll be useful. Okay. Hi D, hey, hi D ho. Hit that goblin with your old banjo. We love a good goober beats. All right. We are going to come in here and we're going to rename this to events. Yep, and in here, we are going to come in here and we are going to say type activity event is going to be a data. Do I not have effect installed in front? I don't. Oh my god. All right, well, let's install effect quick. Bun add effect. And then we're going to use the data module from effect here. And this is going to be data. Import data from effect. And then down here, this is going to be a dot tagged enum. And our tagged enum is going to have metric report reviewed, and this will be metric report reviewed. And then we'll have user completes onboarding assessment. User completes onboarding assessment. User signs up. User signs up. And then we'll have user uploads metric report. Same deal. User uploads metric report. User verifies email. So this is going to give us a bunch of helpful types and utilities for working on this tagged enum. User makes payment, and that'll be the last one for now. Yeah, we can get rid of this. And we're going to get rid of this. In fact, we're just going to basically rewrite all of this. We should have just done this the right way the first time. And we can come in here and we can say type activity event type is going to be types dot extract tags. Extract tag from activity event. Right? Check this out. This type helper is super nice. I think it might need to be types.type extract tag. Is that how we do that? No. Right. We want to, wait, what? I thought, oh, that types.tags is what we want. Activity event. And now if we look at what this is, check this out. Boom, we have a string union of all the event types. Super useful. And really, we could just define these in line here, which might be a better idea. Yoink that. It's 1/2 dozen the other. Yeah, we'll do it. Fuck it. You know what, crowd? I fuck with this. Do that. Come down here. Then we'll come here and we'll yoink you. We'll go back there, paste that in, that's read only. And the last one is user makes payment. Back up there, read only. And then we can come down here. Let's just comment these out so we can get our type checking fixed. There we go. And then, so our type here, now we can use effects type module, right? Like this is super nice. I use this pattern at work all the time for even services that I don't like use effects core in. Types.extract tag, and then you can pass an activity event, right? Activity event, and we're going to extract the tag where tag is user signs up. And when we extract that tag, it does not satisfy the constraint. What did I do wrong here? Oh, we don't need the full, it's just a string. Yeah, there we go. So now look at the type. I get the type that is associated with this tag over here. In fact, I'm gonna write another type helper because I don't actually want the tag on the item. Actually, you know what? That is fine. Yeah, that's actually fine for now. Come in here. All right, I'm gonna bang these out quick. Remember September. Yo, I fucking love this song. Yo, if I get a walkout song for React Miami, should I do 21st of September? Oh, no. If this doesn't get you fucking ready to crank out some JavaScript, you're not gonna make it. Last one, and I'll check chat. All right, bada bing, bada boom, chat, look at that. And then we have this nice helper that we can make, right? We can come in here and we can say cons activity event equals, what is it? Data.tagged enum, and we just do that, and then we come in here and we throw in our activity event, and now we get this like nice little function that we can make activity event dot, we have a constructor that we can pass things in, right? Strongly typed. We can do pattern matching on it, right? We can do a like little pass in some object and be like, is this an activity event? We can match. So nice. Okay, that's that. Let's make a client, and before I make the client, I will come check chat. You have to match your typing speed with the beats per minute of the song. I might have been doing that the entire time. So the activity event just matches up the user type. The activity event type matches up with the tag. So these keys are the tags, right? So if you came and looked at like what these are, like user event type. It has a underscore tag on it. These tag fields, the discriminated, that's the discriminator property. They come from the keys on this record type that's passed into this. Already like this song? I'm not much of a TypeScript loader. Why not just reuse the type if they sit the same? They don't really all use the same type though, right? Like they're all unique types here. Like this is gonna have user ID and report ID. That's gonna have just user ID assessment ID. This will have checkout session ID, price ID. Chandler said I'm starting learning. Oh, here we go. I missed your question, Chandler. Sorry. If you have to start over again, will you learn front end first or back end? I would probably, I don't know. I think I generally recommend most people start with JavaScript and TypeScript because you can be productive the quickest, the fastest, and see progress and have real things in front of you that you built. But as far as like front end and back end, I would really just recommend like if something interests you, even if you don't know how to build it, try building that. Really just build the things and learn the things that grab your attention rather than like trying to create some perfect portfolio in GitHub that you think people are going to care about. Like, I'd rather see on somebody's GitHub projects they don't know how to do where I can see they struggled through trying to learn something and figure something out they didn't know than just like another fucking to-do list app, right? Like, I don't care. I want to see you exploring things where I can see a genuine interest. Lol. All right, I'm gonna stand up because it's about time that the sun's gonna be hitting my camera. So. All right, now we're gonna write the client. Sun's gonna be out. You know what that means? Guns out. Yeah, right. I don't go to the gym. I need to start going to the gym. I am thinking about setting up a home gym in my garage. We can get rid of these. In fact, we can just take that and we can go over to client, paste that in, and then we're gonna do something crazy here, chat. And we're gonna do activity event client. And this is going to actually have, I'm gonna make a little interface here. I know. What are we doing here, JSDoc? Knock it off. And we're gonna say export type activity. I'm gonna throw a little I action in front of there. Act like a C# dev. And in here we're going to have a publish function. And the publish function is going to take how are we gonna do this? This will be event type which will say event type extends activity event type, and we'll throw that on there, event type. And then we're gonna have this payload, type payload, which is going to how do we want to do this? This will be a payload object for now. We're going to index into, yeah, it's going to take a event extends activity event, and then we're going to say this will be omit from the event tag unknown why is it oh right we can just do a underscore tag, and then we can come in here and this will be a payload of a no infer on the, really this should take an event type, right? Event type extends activity event type, and then in here we will index into activity event, and we'll say event type, what's the subset about? Oh, we just have to import it. Oh, we can use our type helper here. We can come in here and we can say types from effect.extract tag, right? And we can say from activity event, and then we pass event type, right? Yeah. And then we can come in here and we can say omit, and we're gonna omit from that tag. That way I don't have to pass in tag everywhere, and I can just use the event name. We're making a nice little API here. How did I double import this? Come on, TypeScript, get your ish together. In fact, we can just get rid of that. Export type payload. And now when we come in here, uncomment that. Payload is going to be payload of the event type. And what we need to do is we need to, yeah, whatever, let's just say void for now. We're gonna wrap a no infer here because we don't want to infer the event type from the second parameter. We always want to infer the event type from the first parameter. So we'll put a little no infer action there. And this is going to return a void. Really, it should be promise void. Let me check how I did that at work real quick. I got this almost working. Just added routes object to my Vercel.json file. Now it's giving me a different error, but this one actually makes sense. Cool. Let's see here. Let's see if this actually works, right? So let's say we have our client. We'll say declare const client is going to be an activity event client. And now we can play around with this, right? We should be able to say publish, and we should get this user makes payment. And then we should have this nice auto-completed user ID. Look at that. Price ID, checkout session ID. We need to fill those in. And if we can just use strings for now. Oh, such a good API. I love that. That's so good. And if I change this to like user completes onboarding assessment, it's like, yo dog, these don't belong on here, right? And now it needs, hey, you need a assessment ID. Beautiful API. Okay, I dig that. That's much better than what we had before. We'll come in here and we'll say implements activity event client. And yes. Boom. Let's get a constructor. And that isn't really going to do anything. Does it really need anything? We could pass it the database. What is the type of our DB, right? Let's find out. Postgres.js database. We could use constructor injection to get that. Database will be a Postgres JS database. So yeah, that gets a default. And we'll say this is going to be actually optional. We'll say private read only. This way we can write tests against this if we want to by providing a mock. But we're going to give it a default as DB. And then we don't need to put anything in the constructor because we'll have access to that. And then down in here, we'll do a little, we need a serialized method, right? Because if you remember what our data structure looks like that we have to save it to the database, it has that like those 3 fields. In fact, let's just open that up on the other screen. Where are you? Find DB. Actually, we don't even need to open that. Well, we can. Go up and we look at schema and we look at activity event. We have this actor type, all that stuff. We need to serialize. Our. We could use effect schema for this actually. Nah, that'd be overkill. You write types that have names like assessment blah 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 blah. Also something else that is important to this, not to forget blah, but you write activity event client instead of interface. Yeah, dude. Why would I ever write interface out? Are you crazy, Kraut? What am I, a madman? What up, JMS? Hi, first time started to be asking for other people, but does anyone know what is up with DevDad? I think he's just taking a break. I think he, you know, after Embedder, he launched a huge project, put a ton of work into it, and you know, that was his life for like a good 1.5 to 2 years or more in the mornings, and I think you know, he's just taking some time to relax after that. Oh, neat. I haven't used the no infertility before. I just learned how to properly use it the other day, and it is, now that I understand how it works, it makes building APIs like this so nice. And I feel like this is a really nice API to use. And we'll come in here and we'll say, this is actually going to be async. Async. And we're going to say try. We'll do this.db We need to serialize, right? We need to write a serialize function. So let's come in here and we'll do a private serialize event. Let's just call it serialize. This will take a activity event, which is called an event. Activity event. And this is going to return promise void. And when we implement this, we're basically going to say our event is going to be do we want to construct it here or not? Yeah, we'll come in here and we'll say activity event dot match. We'll match on the event. Y. What goes in the first argument? Cases. Oh, it creates a function. I see. So we can create that so we only pay the cost of this once. Say const match is equal to activity event match. And then we'll say we'll come in here and we should get autocomplete on you, and we'll get a nice little function. Get out tmux. I don't know how I got up there. We'll get our event. We come over and this is going to return our actor type. God damn. Why? How do I keep fucking up and getting in tmux's command? This will be user actor ID will be. I did it again. How am I continuing to do this? What is the hotkey that's getting me into that? My font is Mono. Yeah, you got it. Mona Lisa. Actor ID will be event. And this is strongly typed, so I know I have my user ID. Our event type is going to be, or what is it? What is the key? Maybe type. I almost want to, yeah, whatever. Say event.tag. And then we'll say object. That imported something that I probably don't want imported, but that's okay. Object type will be onboarding assessment. Onboarding assessment, and the object ID will be event dot assessment ID. So now we have like this consistent schema for events that happen in our application that we can query against, and we can index index on if we need to, rather than just JSON blobs. And then our payload, like this probably doesn't even need a payload. Does this carry extra information on it? Let's come back over to, yeah, we can close this, vsplit this, go into events. Link me this song. Oh, someone beat me to it. Just had to scroll because somebody requests a lot. Wouldn't know who that is. So let's see here. User completes onboarding assessment. Is there any other data we need to really pass with this? I don't think so, because we can always enrich it, right? Maybe we don't even need payloads because we can... Oh, we do in some instances, right? Yeah. So that means payload can actually be null. Okay. Over here, we'll grab come down here and we'll export type is going to be insert activity event, and this is going to be how do we do this? Infer. We do this somewhere. Dude, what is happening to NeoVim this morning? This is the second time I just crashed. Again? Is my fuzzy finder broken? Oh, we got a raid. Togglebit. Thank you, sir. Welcome, raiders. Hope you have a lovely day, man. Hope your stream was good. Welcome, raiders. We are working on making a event publishing system for an app I'm working on. And let me show you this nice little API we've designed out. So we basically want like an event stream of like all the events that are happening and users are doing in the app. So right now we have, I don't know, 6 events. We have a metric report reviewed, a user completes onboarding event, a user signs up, user uploads a metric report, user verifies email, user makes payment. And each of these kind of has their own body, right? And if we come down here, we're using some nice EffectTS helpers. And like you can see, we're extracting a tag from that upper type. We get this. And then we have this client we're working on for publishing these events. So if you come in here, we can ignore this for a second. We have this type, right? This is the interface of our activity event client. It publishes an event, or it has a publish function on it. It takes an event and the payload. And we're using some type helpers here to like make this really nice API. So what this ends up looking like is if we were to have a client, right? And this is going to be an iActivity event client. If we came in here, we were like client.publish. I'm going to get autocomplete on all the different names now because of how we set up our types. These are all the different events we can publish. And let's say I want to publish, I don't know, user makes payment. We select that. And now the second argument is all the data that needs to go along with it. So it needs a user ID, it needs a checkout session ID, and it needs a price ID, right? And now if I were to go back and I was going to change this to a, I don't know, user signs up or something, user completes onboarding assessment. This technically type checks because the event I need there is just a user ID. But if I got like rid of that,
Functions
that's an error,
describe
chat.
the
We found an
world.
error. Oh no, I just have diagnostics off. That's why. Ha! There we go. It's like, hey, this isn't part of the user completes onboarding payload. So I get rid of that. That's not part of it. This is like, yo dog, you still need your assessment ID. And there we go. So we got this nice like autocomplete API on our publish function. So we're working on serializing our events to the database now. We're using Drizzle, all that stuff. What up, JD? Thank you for the follow, HCM. So yeah, let's go figure out again how we do that inference with Drizzle, because I forget the API every single time. In fact, I think we can possibly, I think I might remember it. Let me give it one shot here. It's like infer, I think we import the schema. So it'll be like activity event from our database. If we come up here and we'll come here and we'll do import activity, yeah, from that. And then I think we can do activity event dot why can't I reference that? I thought that had a type of activity event dot, I'm never going to remember this. Infer. Here we go. Type of dot infer insert. Okay, I was so close. That's obnoxious. 3 dot. All right. Type of, oh, we don't need this outer type of. Yeah, there we go. There we go. Payload should be optional though, right? Didn't we fix that? Payload. Yeah, seems fine. So this is going to be a function. Let's just say serialized matcher. Serialized matcher. And this will be, we'll say this has to return a insert activity event. We'll import that. Actor type. Ah, nice. Okay, so this will be actor type, actor ID, object type, object ID. What's this subset about? Okay, yeah, we just have to put our other events on now. So we'll come down, and the next event we're going to do is user makes payment. We can really copy this, and we'll come over here, do that, yoink that, paste that there, that goes in there, boom, boom, boom. The actor type is a user makes a payment, and the object type is going to be checkout session, right? And how do we type that in the database again? We do have a checkout session, session ID. Okay. Okay. So let's go actually back into our events, and we're going to go to checkout session ID, and then we'll do, we're going to rename this to Stripe price ID, and we'll rename this to Stripe session ID. Do that. Yeah. And we'll come back over here into our client, and this is going to be user checkout session. This will be checkout session ID, and then our payload will be just this nice little object that's going to get serialized, and we'll put on the Stripe price ID, and this will be event.Stripe price ID, and then we'll yoink that, do that, replace price with session globally on the line. Great. And now the next event is going to be metric report reviewed. We can basically copy this again, yoink, paste that there, and metric report reviewed, the actor type. Oh, this isn't even a user. This is more like a, nah, we'll keep that. User completes onboarding assessment. This is more like a client, prospective client actually, prospective client. And we can actually change this to prospective client. No, we'll just keep it. User makes payment. Checkout session. That looks good. Metric report review. The actor will be a coach. The object is going to be a metric report. Performance metric report. What do we call that in the database? Performance metric report. We'll call that performance metric report, and this will be probably have the report ID. Yep, right there it is. The payload. What's on our metric report payload? Client ID. Yeah, okay. Payload will have client ID and event.client ID, and this will have then right, coach ID, user. I guess we can rename this to be more specific. This will be prospective client ID. We can do the same thing here, right? Actually, that's not true. We'll eventually want a type here. Actually, you know what? We're gonna put a type on here. User type, and this will be a coach, prospective client, or a, we'll put this first, admin. Okay. User verifies email, and this will be, you can keep that as user ID actually. User uploads metric report. This will be client ID. And let's rename this. Let's just use good names from the start so we don't have to refactor in the future. Client uploads that. User signs up. Client onboards. We can rename this to you. Prospective. It's mouthy, but I don't care. Okay, user makes payment, client, user, that looks good. All right, let me catch up on chat. What up, Rugged Bear? Do you need to change client ID to string instead of user? I might. I'll have to check that. Naming things are really hard. Actor type. That's still a user ID. Yeah, here, we'll go back there and we'll just review each of these since we just made changes. Prospective client. The actor ID, that's on there, good, that's good. Onboarding assessment, that's good. Yeah, that's fine. Now this one, user makes payment, we still get a user, we still get a user ID, and then we want a, probably want a user type on here, which we could technically aggregate because we have the user ID. So we don't need, we could enrich that with analytics down the line if we needed to, so we don't really need that. What in the hell is this crowd? Skip. Metric report reviewed. This now gets a coach ID. Client ID, object. Okay. Okay. Now we need user verifies email, which we can take from here, percent that. And this is going to get user verified email. It's going to be user ID. And then the object type is going to be user ID. And the payload we'll just put into email. And then the last event, I think we have, oh, we have two more. User signs up. User signs up. Yep, user. I'm pretty sure that's on there. Type, user, and then this has user type. And this will have a user type on it. And then the last event we should have is client uploads metric report. And we'll go up. Go like that, 11 down, and paste that in. This is going to be a client. This is going to be client ID, object type is a metric report, performance metric report. This will be our report ID. Yep. Look at this all auto-completing. It's so nice. Oh, we should actually have some extra data on here. This would be good to have like the S3 bucket. Storage ID. Yeah, storage ID. That would be good to have just right on the event. So let's come over here and put a storage ID on this too. It should be, I think this is what somebody was saying earlier. This will have storage ID. Yeah. Promise void. Okay, so now we have a matcher. And we can come in here and we can get our, I don't even know what to call this. Serialized activity event. Equals serialized matcher. And we pass in the event.
Functions describe
and now we
the
have
world.
our nice little insertable object into our database, and we can just return this.db database.insert. This will go into our activity event table, activity event dot values, and we'll say serialized activity event. This does serialize. Oh, okay, that's fine. We just return this. In fact, we don't even need this to be a function. We can just come in here, and we'll come in here, and we'll say const serialized event is going to be serialize matcher. In fact, we can just call this serialize. And we'll come in here, pass in const event is going to equal how do we want to do this? I need to use the thing to cast it. We'll come here and we need a tag, and this will be the event type. And then we need just the payload. And then we'll say if activity event dot is event why wouldn't that work? Oh, yeah. We say event type. We can drop into here. Like, we don't even really need try catch. It's safe enough to do without try catch. We will then serialize the event, because now this will be narrowed to an activity event that we can actually pass into here, right? So we pass our event. That's going to be happy. We have our serialized event, and then we can return. We can do await, actually. Await this dot database dot insert into activity event. and then we say values, and we say our serialized event. And otherwise, we'll just come in here, we'll do an early return. And in here, we'll say log an error, console.error, and this will show up in Vercel. Invalid, this should never happen, but invalid activity event. I'll just do we'll say /n, and we'll say event type, and then we'll do this, and we'll put in event type, and we'll put another new line, and then we'll do payload, and then we'll JSON stringify the payload. Yeah. And now the last thing we will do is come up here, export that, and we'll say export const. This is almost worth moving out into its own package because we could start emitting events from inside effect stuff. You're such a dick, Kraut. I hate you so much. I'll go get a water in a second. Default client is going to equal new activity event client. Boom. Now we have our default client, and we can just go ahead and publish events. And boom. Look at that. Beautiful. That is a really nice API. I dig this a whole lot. Okay, let me go get a water. Hi, Winnie. Come into my office? Woman. No? Okay. All right, so now we're gonna have a ton of type errors everywhere we're publishing events, but that's okay. So let's just run our type checker. Oh, wait, that was... We had type errors over here. Oh, yeah, because we changed the names of these. Right, this is client. We'll do the same thing there. Yeah. And this is gonna be perspective, the really long one. Prospective client. What? There we go. Yep. So this is different now, right? This is going to have on it. Actually, we're going to want to go up to the top up here. We'll do we'll open up Spectre. We'll do a global find and replace, and we'll do star as activity event. Do I have to escape that? There we go. And we'll replace that with default client as activity event. This song's fire too. I already have this song. I don't have it liked. How does effects really help you? Oh yeah, we never went back to look at that earlier. I kind of got really into this. I will show a good example of effect here in a second. Let me update these couple files and then we'll go look at effect. So we come in here and we say await activity event dot publish, and now we're gonna have this nice like what'd they say? This was user uploads metric report. And okay. Client uploads metric report. And now we have this payload, and it's gonna have a storage ID, which we'll have to return that, right? Let's just return an object here. This will be report ID, and we'll get storage ID, and this will be report dot storage values result.data.id. And then up here, we get yank surrounding word
Functions
that, and
describe
ID.
the world.
And then down here, thank you for the follow, Dolce. And then the other fields we need a report ID. We need a client ID, which is going to be the user ID in this case. And we need, that's it. Boom. That's such a nicer API. Tell me that's not a so much nicer API. All right, a couple more. CN. Okay, and then we'll have an error down here, and we'll just GC that, and we'll say we need to publish user verifies email. So let's say await activity event dot publish. It's going to be user verifies email, and that's going to have a payload of a user ID, which I'm assuming we have in scope, user.id, and then email, yep, and that'll be user.email. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. Okay. Activity event dot publish. This will be prospective client completes onboarding assessment. This is going to have a prospective client ID, which will be our user.id in this scope. The assessment ID, do we have the assessment in scope? This might be the table. Yeah. let's go ahead and come in here. Assessment answer, user assessment. All right, we need to change that event a little bit because I forgot that there will eventually be multiple events. I just lost my Twitch chat too. I get giddy when an API create just flows like milk and honey. I love it. Hell yeah. Yeah, I'm using Session for auth. See you, Vafi. Have a good day. All right, let's go fix this event quick. Events. Onboarding assessment. This really just needs the user assessment ID. And that's going to break a type in here. Yeah. User assessment ID, and this will be user assessment.id. We'll just say if result equals undefined, we'll throw new error. That will never happen. We're just using this to narrow the type, which we can just do invariant. Do I not have invariant in here? I thought I added that. Maybe not. Whatever, that's good enough. Then we'll come down here and we'll return user assessment ID, which will be result.user assessment ID. And now up here, we get that out of that. We get user assessment ID equals that, and we can log that into our activity event. Dude, why is NeoEvent freezing today? I really think this is SvelteKit's LSP. I only have problems when SvelteKit stuff is running. Boom. Look at that. God, it's such a good API. I am so happy with how this came together, chat. Oh, we do need to do this, huh? Yeah, we do need that activity event. Okay, so let's add that to our client quick. This will be really easy. We can close, we'll just come over here and then we'll say get all events, and this will return a promise with activity event. We'll eventually have to paginate that, but I'm not like super worried about that right now. Async get all events. I don't even think we need to annotate this, do we? Like if we, I think we, well, it should infer, right? Oh, come on, TypeScript. You should be able to infer that. Annoying. Oh, we're gonna have to deserialize it. I hadn't even considered that. So that is actually a good use case then for schema from Effect, because schema is kind of like Zod in Effect, where the difference is when you use things like Zod or archetype or JSON validator, generally you're going from an unknown type to a known type, and you're parsing and validating runtime check that. Schema has this interesting property, which is like EffectTS's runtime type checker, where it goes in both directions. So when you define a schema transform or parsing action, it has to be able to encode to a type and decode back to the former type. So what we really want to do is we want to make a schema that can encode to the serialized, or encode or serialize to the database format, and then also deserialize the database format back to like our application like domain type. So we'll do that tomorrow. To do schema encoding / decoding. And that will go here. Throw. And then I'll go show some effect stuff. I put in the DB, the session auth in the DB. All right, so most of my effect stuff, I have this other service running on fly.io. It's this little job queue. It's basically listening to this table with PG notify. Excuse me, this table. So a job will come into the job queue. I have a I don't know, a worker just watching via PG notify this table. When it gets a job, it locks the row, and then it processes the event and does whatever it needs to do. And it just sits there and listens and processes events. And the way it's set up is EffectTS has a preemptive scheduler and green threads built in. Now it's still single threaded, right? But up until now, TypeScript and Node didn't really have a good way to do CPU bound concurrency without like getting into a world of like event emitters and like set immediates. It's just a mess. You're never going to get it right. So they basically used the same scheduler that React has built in, or at least a similar scheduler that lets React render things concurrently. So now you can do concurrent CPU bound work in Node.js with Effect. So what happens when an event comes in, I spin off a new green thread, which is like a Go routine or like an Elixir process, and we process an event. And that makes it so our top level listener can still keep picking up events and spinning off new green threads as new jobs come in. So what that looks like in the code is we have our job queue. Oh, right, because I don't think I would have changed any of this. I don't know why this is failing. Because we didn't change any of that. We might just need to install. I'm just going to turn off diagnostics for now. But So we spin up this job queue. It sits here and it listens on the job queue channel. And as it gets job IDs, it basically, this returns a stream, which a stream is just like a potentially infinite value, or like an infinite list of values, I guess, right? So every time it gets a job ID, we go and query the full row from Postgres. We flatten the effect. Then we decode the message into an actual job. And then we pull out the job ID and the message, right? So the messages we can have right now is send email verification, process metric upload, creating a contact in our CRM, and then it can return a parse error and it has no dependencies. We go down and we handle message. So in here, we set up a retry policy, and our retry policy is dependency injected. And we have two different retry policies. We have one that is an exponential back off that is jittered and will retry 3 times. And our other retry policy is just one shot. We get our Postgres client. We set up our retry effect. So this basically just lets me take an effect and we'll retry it with our policy. We come in here and we run our effect with retries. If it fails after all the retries or just the one shot, we will log that this failed, and then we will set the job status to error. If we succeed, we log that we handled the job and we set the job to completed. And then when we actually process, I guess that's also a function, right? This is a function, run is a function. We should probably extract this out. Whatever, it's fine right now. I just defined that function in line. Basically, this is just a function that takes an effect and then runs it with success and error handling and enables retry mechanisms. But down here, we actually will match on the message we get to handle. We say if it's a send verification email, we fork a scoped green thread, and which means it spins off concurrently and doesn't block this process, and we run it, right? And in here, we dependency inject an email client, and in this case, it's a resend email client, and we say, hey, send verification email. We do some annotation of spans. We handle our errors, set up spans and telemetry. Yeah. So it's just like super nice. Error handling built in, just like types propagate, errors are strongly typed. Really, really nice. Then we also have a janitor job running that just runs and basically looks for jobs that are stale. So like jobs that might be caught in an error state or something else, and it will retry them. Eventually, this needs to put jobs that we've retried, jobs that have ended up in error status that we've retried 3 times into a dead letter queue. So yeah, that's kind of the whole thing. Yeah, we have like this spaced schedule right here. We say, hey, run the janitor every 5 minutes. Well, chat, it is time to wrap up, and we'll be back tomorrow morning, and we'll write a little bit of EffectTS with the schema and do encoding and decoding of our activity events, since they're becoming more and more important to the application. And otherwise, we're going to do a raid here. Let's see who is streaming that I follow. Martin Trikelli, Eduardo. Oh, we got some OCaml. Oh, we're looking at Jai. Let's raid Prime because I want to look at Jai too. All right, everyone. Thank you for all the new follows. Raiders from Togglebit, thank you for hanging out and sticking around. Appreciate all of you. Have a kick-ass Wednesday. Happy hump day. And we'll be back tomorrow.